And I'm here to say a variety of things, but the video is titled Narcissist and Other Poorly Used Words or Misused Words. But I should mention that I might have to go right away because I fucked up and I had a typing session at 10 a.m. I was just killing time, but for part of the time I was killing, I had the headphones on, so I didn't hear my phone give me the alert. And it was like 10:45, and I realized, oh fuck, I missed that typing session. So I gotta check my email, and if that person emailed me back right away, I'm gonna have to do that typing session. But if not, I want to talk about this narcissist and other misused terms thing. So I just watched quite a good video, actually, by a lady named Lise LeBlanc. LISELEBLANC. And the reason it was a good video is because it was called 7 Ways to Tell Your Partner is Not a Narcissist. This is a piece of information people need a lot more than they need actual more information about narcissists. So the thing is, narcissism, varieties of toxicity that all stem from the same fundamental problem. It's what I call accountability avoidance disorder. So this lady says if your partner can be accountable, admit they're wrong, apologize, express genuine regret and remorse, try to do better, even if they do make a mistake, well, then they're probably not a narcissist, right? I would say certainly not a narcissist, because that's the core engine of all toxicity is accountability avoidance disorder. But it's also worth noting that there are things in this way to tell your partner is not a narcissist where it can also be framed as ways to tell your partner is a narcissist if you wanted to frame it that way, because same kinds of information, right? But so what they say basically is, what she says is something along the lines of, if a narcissist doesn't get their way or is upset about something, they'll get angry, they'll make a scene or whatever. Another thing talks about is like basically yelling at people, berating people, or something like that is a sign of narcissism, is the implication of it. Well, what I want to get at here is there are very few actual clinical narcissists. Okay, they're not very common, but what is very common is people abusing the term to pathologize other people. So, like, to be a clinical narcissist is essentially, the best diagnosis of it is you have full-blown accountability avoidance disorder. And what that means is that you are unable to engage in the normal reciprocal justice kind of relationships that people always demonstrate if they're healthy. Which is to say, you basic things you learn in kindergarten, take turns, be nice to each other, shit like that, And when people don't behave like that, obviously, it can be confusing to somebody who expects people to be decent human beings and not evil, right? Of course, narcissists probably aren't willfully malevolent so much as they are so terrified of betrayal, abuse, being unable to, it's like it almost certainly stems from childhood abuse. And when you're unable to trust your parents, then you're unable to trust anybody. If they betray that trust, you can't ever operate in a trust kind of relationship with people. You just have to control them all the time. But I think it's also worth noting that one of the problems with all the public discussion of narcissism, and for some reason I've been getting a lot of videos recommended to me about it lately. Occasionally I'll click one, I guess that's why. Uh, is there needs to be to properly understand narcissists, there needs to be a distinction made between like interface narcissists and action type narcissists, you know? They both share one main thing in common, which is accountability avoidance disorder. But if you've got an FE type, they're going to manipulate in FE ways. If you got a TE type, they're going to leverage in TESE kind of ways where they say, you know, if you don't do this, then you will receive the following kind of punishment, or they'll take this away, or something like that. That kind of behavior is never appropriate in any healthy relationship. Uh, Even with children, I don't think it's very, very healthy to threaten punishments. I always try to reach agreement with Delilah about things. Punishments wouldn't work on her anyway. They don't work on action types very well. Threats of punishments of themselves, they just make you dig in your heels, kind of. By and large, people shouldn't issue ultimatums in any kind of relationship. If you're having to issue ultimatums, then either the other party is pushing you into making such statements, in which case you shouldn't be with them, or you're behaving toxically, in which case you shouldn't really be with anybody. Hi, Acacia. But what to note is how poorly people get what narcissism actually is. And one of the reasons is explained by the following analogy. So I used to have a notion of what mania was that was predicated on, thinking of it as like, when I'm hyper or something. When I talked to the psychiatrist and he was trying to make a determination about whether I had any mania in my psychological mix, I said to him in no uncertain terms, like, look, I'm kind of hyper or whatever, but I am in no conceivable way manic. And the reason I know this for sure is I've seen what clinically manic looks like. It's not just you're hyper, right? You are unable to sleep for like a week straight and you go completely batshit crazy. It's not being hyper. Same thing with narcissism. I don't know. I can't even count how many times I've been accused of being a narcissist. Despite the fact that if you had any actual, understanding of what it is, or any desire to actually diagnose things correctly, you easily see that I'm not a narcissist because I don't have accountability avoidance disorder. Well, it might be the case. Like one of the things this lady said was they always want to be the teacher. They never want to learn from you. You're in a relationship with a narcissist. Well, I'm an explainer. I like to explain things. It doesn't mean I never want to learn from anybody else. But it's one of those kind of quick sign tag things that people will use to justify accusing me of being a narcissist, But people are nutty sometimes. I just do not understand them. In that, in the ways that, the variety of ways that people display their own damage, I guess, is what it boils down to. It confuses me a lot because I'm a long way from expressing damage so dramatically, let alone toxically. Because while I expressed my frustration in my relationship with Kimberly quite dramatically, there were some yelling fights and stuff. I never did the kind of stuff that she did. I never sunk to her level in the sense that I continued to keep my discourse fair, not intentionally hurtful, things like that, you know? Of course, as per my hypothesis in a recent stream, probably the most effective way you can deal with somebody who has accountability disorder is to hit them in their sixth slot function, make them experience negative consequences there. Maybe if I had, you know, said a bunch of super hurtful things to Kimberly, maybe I would have made some headway instead of yelling at her and trying to get her to listen to me, you know. What I kept yelling was, listen to me. Stop putting your hands over your ears and listen to me. You want me to boof my foob. Oh my God. Whenever I think about that time period, it's just like, could anything have possibly ever been more frustrating? Right at the beginning of the relationship, I said to her, you make me more angry than anybody I've ever encountered in my life. Why I stayed with her, I do not know. I was just F.I. Polar saying, hello, you're ill equipped to deal with this. Especially because I had no SI experience before with somebody who was dealing with me that toxically, making it that impossible for me to communicate. Which was as frustrating a thing as you can possibly do to me is make it impossible for me to communicate. And it's like, sure, my first wife cheated on me, and she's obviously not a healthy person, but at least I could communicate with her. Even if all I could communicate was, you filthy, worthless, cheating whore. We shouldn't put her fingers in her ears like a baby. That's the absolute worst thing you can possibly do to me, is to refuse to allow my words to do their good work. I don't know what a man mascara is, but it's like, I am well intentioned. I am an expert at using words to resolve things, and you refuse to listen to anything I say. That's just pure torture. Pure torture. It's like, I can't believe I kept banging my head against that wall for such a long time, trying to communicate with her, get her to listen to me. But as I kept saying to her the whole relationship, work with me, not against me. Listen to my words. I can't even count the number of fucking times I said those things to her. No, of course I didn't do that. Boba Fett, of course not. Because I am a word person. Not an action taking person. I mean, if anybody deserved to be punched in the face, it was Kimberly. I mean, what a fucking POS that woman was. To me, anyway. Not necessarily to other people. But, you know, it's like easy to forgive somebody who's got BPD, which is really just another form of narcissism, you know? It's like, it's just limited field narcissism. They're narcissistic with everybody, they're just narcissistic with the people closest to them. And I don't know if you even call it narcissistic, they're just abusive. That's the thing. It's like we draw all these distinctions. What's wrong with this person? The answer is very simple in every instance. They're abusive. They abuse other people in a variety of ways. Persistently abusive people seem to be uncurable. We've all acted occasionally in abusive ways and probably felt a lot of guilt about it at some point afterwards, learn something from it. Been either verbally abusive or emotionally abusive by like withholding or something. We participated in bullying somebody maybe when we were a kid. I did, and I mean mostly I didn't mostly, but I have a couple of instances when I can remember when I did, and it's horrible. Those are the worst memories of all. Anyway, we've all had our moments of being bad people, but those of us who are healthy hold ourselves and allow ourselves to be held accountable by others. If I have something on my conscience, there's nothing else to be done in life until I deal with that. I try to keep a clean plate. Well, there are degrees to narcissism, I agree, both. In other words, people are varying degrees of unhealthy and can get less unhealthy as they get older or more unhealthy as they get older, depending. So, Corey started out pretty healthy after, I don't know, 25 years of abuse at the hands of his BPD wife. He no longer is healthy. On the other hand, I think Kimberly's mom, who was somewhat party at least to the childhood that turned her into who she was, uh, she seemed to be genuinely making an effort to make amends to the extent that she could. She seemed not narcissistic to me, but a lot of the abuse that Kimberly endured was at the hands of her stepfather rather than her mother. But The betrayal of her mother is her mother didn't protect her, you know. Yes, not ever being able to admit they're in the wrong. That's what I call accountability avoidance syndrome. And that is the one thing that all toxic people have in common. They cannot be actually held accountable. That's why they continue to behave abusively, right? They're not held accountable by their own intuition or feelings or whatever. They're, and they won't let themselves be held accountable by other people. But, you know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Just because all narcissists have accountability avoidance syndrome doesn't mean that every single person with accountability avoidance syndrome behaves toxically. Regarding that question, I'm not sure. Only for a short amount of time can they pretend as though they are being held accountable, just further their gaslighting manipulative tendencies. Yeah, well, you can't pretend to be held accountable by me. That's not possible. That's why they run in terror from me, in part. So the thing is, I do think it's possible for people to behave less toxically and still have accountability avoidance disorder syndrome, whatever you want to call it. Like Rachel's mom, um, she pulled sort of classic narcissist maneuver when she separated Rachel from me, had me go back to LA. Rachel spending the night with her mom down in San Diego. Um, the terms were already agreed upon before I even left that Rachel was going to, if she was going to smoke pot, she's going to smoke it outside, not in the condo, which was obviously the case. We always do that. We don't smoke weed inside of hotel rooms or condos or whatever. And then after I had left, Rachel went outside and smoked weed, and Rachel's mom changed the rules. You know, like, well, actually, if you're gonna stay here, you can't smoke any weed at all while you're here. And if you don't like it, you can go back to LA. And Rachel called her bluff, and and I came down to pick her up, and then Rachel's mom pulled another classic narcissist kind of move. If you leave with Eric, I will disown you. But she left with Eric anyway. And then my point was, I agree with you, Hero Lamb, that people who genuinely apologize or feel bad aren't real narcissists. In other words, that's the alternative to having accountability avoidance syndrome, is to actually apologize. That's the form of accountability, you know. But yeah, you can tell the difference between a real apology and I'm so sorry that you felt that way. I'm going to try to do a better job of taking into account your insecurities from now on. That's not a real apology. That's a narcissist apology. But hopefully, we can all tell the difference between real apologies and bullshit. It's easy for me to tell because it's a matter of the fact that they won't say the actual words that are consistent with a real apology. They necessarily start sticking other shit in there to qualify it, you know? So the point is, well, that's not necessarily the case, Mackenzie. I mean, in my mind, a real apology is much more likely to be followed up by a lack of action, not repeating that action that comprised of wrongdoing and necessitated the apology in the first place. But that's because I'm an anti-dom and you're an SE-dom, so naturally you're gonna think that actions are necessary, like doing things. I'm not that into doing things. That's why I yeah, I'm sorry that that your insecurities make it so easy for me to trigger you. Well, you know, and there's plenty of times when I am genuinely sorry. Like, I realize I've been very inconsiderate of Rachel. Like, um, this is not an actual example, but be something like this. Like, Eric's talking on the phone, paying no attention to whatever's going on. And and Rachel's got some food in front of her. And I'm walking by and I just take her food, take it with me with a spoon with me, and just start eating it and walk away, you know, as I'm talking on the phone. I get that's not actually happened, but you know, that sort of thing might occasionally happen. In which case, I genuinely am like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, Rachel. Here, my bad. Let me make you something new. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? So, uh, unfortunately, this lady, first, she PayPal'd me. I emailed her. Then she emailed me back, but I didn't reply for like a week because I didn't see it or whatever. Or just was plain. I don't want to look at my email. Um, then I did find the schedule for Wednesday today at 10 a.m. And then I was just killing time till 10 o'clock. I got distracted messing around with some music thing. And then I had my headphones on, so I didn't hear my phone's announcement that 30-minute warning, you know. And then it was 10:45. I took off I stopped playing with what I was playing with. I was like, okay, what now? And I looked at my phone. I was like, oh no, I fucked up again with the same lady. So I sent her an email saying we can do it right now, or we can reschedule, or I can just send you a refund if you want. I'm sorry. Not normally this unprofessional. All caps this, you know. So in those cases, it's like, I'm sorry that I was inconsiderate. It was due to my scatterbrainedness. Genuinely, I feel sorry about it, but I'm not promising to never be scatterbrained again. Why was someone calling Flow State a narcissist? Well, if you want me to provide their justification, their ridiculous justification was Taylor must be a narcissist because he thinks he's a celebrity because he's been on Talking with Famous People, indicating that that guy has no idea what the channel's title is all about, you know? That's not, what are you talking about? If you want to know why he's, you want to know why the guy is attacking Taylor in general, the reason seems to me, and this is just speculation, is that he's an Enneagram 8 insecure male whom Taylor both offended and made feel extra threatened. That'd be my best explanation for it. I don't know what happened, but Taylor's not big into pulling his punches. You know, he's smarter than almost everybody he has on his thing. So, and he's not as moist as I am, you know. He's not as soft and tender. I have soft, tender feelings. Oh yeah, he'll admit when he's wrong plenty of times. Anytime you catch him in a TI inconsistency, he makes this sour face and goes, "Okay, that still counts. That counts just as much." Well, I mean, sometimes Taylor jumps to wildly inaccurate conclusions too. That doesn't make him a narcissist. What you see in that guy who made the video about Taylor is somebody who feels insecure, who is has been made to feel extra threatened by Taylor in some fashion, and who feels insulted or belittled by Taylor, and who's got in no higher than fourth. Um, so he's just attacking however he can, and doing a shit poor job of it because to communicatively get the better of somebody requires intuition higher than fourth anyway. I don't think he knows him IRL. No, he just is. He's just doing what so many people do. They just weaponize the term narcissist and use it to say that to anybody they don't like. You know, I have a long history of attracting such people here on. Mike Hart comes to mind recently. This is the most recent incarnation of this. But that Michael Smith is obviously very horrible. I've had many such people. You know, Queen's Gambit. I can't even. It would take me all day to list them all. Oh, my string came off. Well, maybe I need a longer string. Maybe I need a different shirt. Did Caleb Williams convince you to try it, Acacia? Hey, Caleb Williams makes me want to try it. Boy, I tell you, the media turns on him so fast. He's had a couple of bad games. Everybody chill out, all right? These screaming headlines. Will Caleb Williams still be the top draft pick after 2 bad games? What is this cigarette? This is a regular tobacco cigarette. Boy, it's chilly today. It must be like minus 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Is it so good? All right, I'm sold. Between Ruben, Acacia, and Kayla Williams, the 3 of you got together to sell me on strawberries and cream Dr. Pepper. You happened upon it, huh? You know what commercials I used to like? The commercials for Dr. Pepper that had this little guy named like Little Pepper or something. Remember those commercials? He was like this ESFP, this little tiny ESFP guy that would like come out of something, come out of the pool or come out of a cake or something. And he had like purple hair and this like super like Steven Tyler kind of ESFP look. But he was a miniature guy. He wasn't like a little person. He was just, he used camera tricks. Oh, fuck that. I hate American cigarettes. I mean, American spirits, I mean. Look, there's one single best cigarette in the world. Okay? It's the American Marlboro Red box. Shorts, as they call them now. Shorts, because otherwise they'll ask you, do you want short ones or hundreds? And I just go, can I get a pack of Marlboro Red shorts, please? Because they don't even have soft pack anymore, so you don't even have to say box. I don't know. They may have soft pack somewhere, but they don't have it in California anymore. I can't seem to find any place that carries them anymore. They've just stopped making them entirely. Yeah, I can't find them anymore. Let's Google it. Let's see if they got rid of them entirely or if it's just a California thing. California's got all kinds of weird nonsense, you know. I do buy cartons. And I buy them at what remarkably has got to be one of the cheapest places in all of California, which happens to be the Bootjack Market. They sell them so cheap there. For California, it's under $110 a carton. Yeah, I bought them at the gas station in town one time. It was 130. So that's quite a good deal. Do they still make Marlboro Red soft pack? Oh, no, it's not. Bullshit. Listen to this. I'll show it to you. I'll show you on the screen. It's bullshit that they're trying to say. Look at this bullshit. It says, Marlboro Soft Pack is the same cigarette except it's packaged in a soft wrapper or pack. Like most cigarettes. Everybody has their own reason for preferring one over the other. It's just a matter of preference. Not true. Not the same cigarette, okay? If it's the same cigarette, go ahead and put a soft pack Marlboro Red into a Marlboro Red box and close the lid. You've just broken your cigarette. Why? Because a soft pack cigarette is slightly longer than a box cigarette. Google, I accuse you of promoting bullshit. Can you believe that? They don't even know that. I haven't even been able to get soft pack in years. Yeah, well, you live in a sane place, I guess. Soft pack, well, I'll look at pictures of it. So I'll show you some pictures of it. As the name suggests, it is a soft pack. I used to get soft pack every place that they had them, which was not that many places. This is soft pack. What this is right here. This is a good picture of right here. Yeah, this one. Okay. So we can look at it here. This is a good picture of Marlboro Red soft pack. Okay. Not 100 soft pack. You don't want to get the hundreds. They're not as good. Let's just admit that right now. Now, in contrast, what I get is box. I used to get box half the time, at least anyway, more than half the time, because most places didn't have soft pack. Well, soft pack is cooler because you take off one little piece of foil, and then when you get a cigarette, you just go like this, and a cigarette comes out. So you don't have to open anything, you know. You can be super cool. If you got a full pack of them, you just go pop one cigarette out, and then you pull that cigarette out and smoke it. The whole thing's a little longer. Good morning, Rachel, my beloved, beautiful darling. But it's the case that the filter is a little bit longer and the tobacco is a little bit longer. So, yeah, they're cooler, basically. That's why I got them. But it is a slightly different cigarette. So, what they were saying on that other thing was a lie. They were lying their asses off because if you want to prove to me that they were telling the truth, all you got to do is take a soft pack cigarette, put it in a box, and close the lid. What you will end up doing is breaking your cigarette. I know from plenty of experience. I like the title of the video, Mike Hart, you know, account so-and-so, but it's only got 100 views. Meanwhile, what to do with nails in wall? Hey. Under 15-second long short, the message of which is pull them out with a hammer. That was 1,281 views. 12 times as many views as the video that actually says something. You know, it's like how big pusher truck works. How big pusher truck works. This is how big pusher truck works. This is just a proof of concept to Rachel. I was like people love to look at videos of construction things. I'll just make one out of this stupid big pusher truck just to prove the point. 10,000 views. 10,000 views for a big pusher truck. Doesn't that depress you a little bit? Meanwhile, Scrubs versus T-Mobile, which is worse, which has an important message, only had 94 views. The important message of I'm talking about shorts about big pusher trucks. You guys aren't listening. Regular construction. Well, my important message I was trying to get out about Scrubs and T-Mobile is a two-part message. Number one, the TV show Scrubs was absolutely terrible. And number two, just seeing those horribly unfunny guys together just makes me want to vomit. And number three, T-Mobile sucks ass. I was with T-Mobile before. They couldn't have sucked more ass. They literally directed all of their personnel towards sucking as much ass as possible. And everybody came back shaking their heads saying, we can suck no more ass. It's a good idea, Boba Fett, but good ideas are like penises. Half the people have them. Or vaginas. Either way, the message in the analogy is the same. Half of people have good ideas. What? Where am I getting these statistics from? The International Bureau of Statistics. And they provide me all the statistics I need to do what I need to do in a world that has no way to know anything except via statistics. Our most important thing. Yeah, how many years? 1.8 standard deviations from the mean. That's a lot. That's really saying something. Wow, Jordan Peterson. And what exactly does the mean represent here? Oh, it doesn't matter, damn it. The point is that it's empirically established. But what exactly is empirically established? That this test is a test with numbers. You can use statistics, damn it. Okay. 6 hexen with a 20-odd K and hit 100 in a hurry. Well, those things are all well and good, but if I could just start talking politics around here, you know. I don't really want to. But maybe I'll change my mind. Jordan Peterson, he began a formal campaign to raise awareness of statistics terms. It could be a black and white ribbon. A decontextualized black and white ribbon. Oh, I'm raising awareness about statistics. That's really saying something. Yeah. You can all have your interpretations. We can't all have our own statistics. Lies, damn lies, and statistics. Problem with statistics is they aren't even lying. They just, in the way Jordan Peterson is using them, establishing nothing. Trying to email this lady. She got back to me. I will await your phone. Thanks, Eric. Okay, well, at least that's done now. I don't have to deal with it right now. I dealt with the emails, those are hard. You better earn my degree. You think it's easy? I had to clean my room. Otherwise, I couldn't get anything done. Well, what you say, the last sentence there is pretty correct. Officers forming a hierarchy is irrelevant if one is not implying that it's a natural phenomenon for all species. But he is not just implying that. He's saying, here's how, here's how, here's a NI notion about sexual relations and identity and psychology and stuff, right? And here are examples that demonstrate that concept in the natural world. But the problem is, those examples that demonstrate that concept don't demonstrate that concept for people. They aren't an example of people demonstrating that concept. So that's where the mistake is in terms of the reasoning. He's framing it sort of in the right way, like, here's a commonality between species that I'm claiming, linking to sexual reproduction, the behavior of males and females. Here are examples of that commonality in the natural world. Of course, for it to be a commonality, you can't prove it with examples, right? You need to make explicitly the claim that pending any counterexamples, yeah. And regardless, there's always the most important question is, what are you trying to do intellectually with this? And that's where Peterson consistently goes wrong. He thinks he's trying to do something that he's not doing, and or he doesn't, or he knows what he's doing and he thinks it's the right thing to do, but it's not. I'm not sure which. JP's not claiming what? No, he is making claims about sort of here's a universal rule for people. Since I'm an evolutionary scientist, I'm going to show that I'm going to frame the reasoning behind it as some sort of evolutionary advantage. And I'm going to thereby have legitimate intellectual access if you ignore the point I've made about the reasoning problem, um, to other species as a reference point because we all evolved from the same lobsters. Do many people type me as an INTP? That's not one I've heard very often. Because almost everybody who thinks I'm not who purportedly thinks I'm not an ENTP, they're not voicing a real position on my type. They're just trying to attack me by saying I'm a different type. The problem is saying I'm actually an INTP isn't a very good attack because I typically get attacked by being called ISFJ, ESFJ, ESTJ, because obviously, maybe ESTP, because in doing so, it's a way to deny me the status of an intuitive. They think that's going to do the most disruption to me. And if they were smart enough to realize that INTP would be a smarter way to go because you could better substantiate that claim, even though that is totally bullshit too, um, then they'd be smart enough not to play this stupid game in the first place. So I never thought I was an introvert ever. I don't remember anybody saying you're quite introverted, shy, anything like that. The only time I can remember feeling like an introvert, sort of, what I imagine an introvert might feel like, was when I was towards the end of my last relationship before Rachel with Kimberly, end of a long abusive relationship, 2 years, 2.5 maybe. But towards the end of that, she had made it such that I didn't want to be my natural extroverted, joking, exuberant self because she had like one after another like shit on some extroverting of self that I produced in the world, from which I generalized, well, that avenue of extroverting, this kind of joke's not gonna fly anymore. That yeah. So towards the end of that relationship, when I was with her, I was quiet. And, probably I was a little more quiet in general, maybe because I was dealing with a lot of emotional stuff, which tended to make me very quiet. Um, but I just got a little bit sidetracked here thinking how Corey seemed more extroverted when he was here on a visit. That also, that tracks, as they say. So, what else was I saying? Oh, yeah. But I never, for a second, thought I was an introvert or anything. And the thing is, I didn't discover MBTI till late. Somehow, it's just I didn't take it or didn't think about it or I don't know before I was like 30 years old. I didn't encounter it in college or anything. It just so passed so gently by my radar that I didn't take note of it or whatever. When I did find MBTI, and all I found first was MBTI and I just read the type descriptions. As soon as I hit ENTP, I knew immediately that I was an ENTP. Um, I did take a couple of tests online. They all typed me ENTP. Like, I'm pretty sure every single personality test I've ever taken has typed me ENTP. I never doubted it for a second, and I still don't. From the moment I read the type description to this day now, I have never questioned my type one time. I can entertain questions about it, like, well, what about this, Eric? But none of those questions ever gave me any doubt. They just reinforced what I already know to be the case, that I'm extroverted intuition, introverted thinking. The thing is, I I discovered the MBTI like that, then didn't think about it again, or didn't think about it much, didn't certainly look it up or anything for years. Then went, then I started this YouTube channel, and I read some article about cognitive functions, which I had not heard about before, and I was like, oh, so there's a reasoning behind this MBTI thing. It's not just you're a Scorpio or whatever. Because even though I thought, wow, that's like shockingly accurate, these things it's saying, I was most drawn to the bad things that I could find. I searched for more and more bad things. So I felt some sort of like commiseration with others that I didn't know. Because I mean, the first time I read about it, I burst into tears. And the primary feeling or thought was, so that's what's wrong with me. Of course, that's before I was introduced to the world's greatest sentence by my AA sponsor. There's nothing wrong with you. That was a powerful sentence to hear for me when I basically had to leave AA because they didn't consider me sober because I smoked weed, did Adderall, whatever, abused it in their definition of it. I didn't take exactly as prescribed, so, and I'm not going to what I indicated to him. So we had a falling out. It was hard for me because I wasn't sure if I still needed AA meetings. I still did go to some at like different places, but I realized that well, a lot of them say explicitly at the beginning, if you've had any mind or mood altering substance in the last 24 hours, please do not speak. And while I understood it wasn't lying if I just disobeyed them. Felt like it. So I had to stop going to AA meetings completely. So first I like stopped going to the meeting where my sponsor went to because he like broke up with me. And then I stopped going entirely. But then later on, I thought he had unfriended me on Facebook. And I was like, really, dude? Come on. You know, 'cause I was feeling bad at the time. What is this? What did that say? What's on the calendar now? Oh, that's tomorrow, though, right? Yeah, okay, that's a heads up for tomorrow. I got lunch with David tomorrow. No, but later on, I was on Facebook and I thought he had unfriended me. Um, and when really he had two different accounts and he was like deactivating the one that was not active. And it looked like to me he had unfriended me. But I think I communicated with him. I don't know if it was via his other Facebook or via text or email or something. But I'm like, what did I do? I felt I felt a lot of emotion about it. And he's like, no, I didn't unfriend you. Uh, I just am getting rid of this other Facebook that is not my one that's active. And then he said, there's nothing wrong with you. Basically, like, whatever I said before, just ignore that. There's nothing wrong with you. Pretty powerful thing to hear, really, you know? Still makes me emotional. So maybe I'm just generalizing from my own experience, but I suspect that there's probably a lot of people who need to hear that same message. Because the world throws at us continually from a variety of sources, implied and explicit, are the following messages landing in our ears and eyes constantly. There is something wrong with you, and probably here's how you should fix it. Yeah. Well, it's one of the it's an example of an instance when NI was super impactful to me. Because I had never even considered the possibility before, really, you know. I was so busy screaming in so many different ways, there's nothing wrong with me, that I had never considered the possibility that maybe there was nothing wrong with me. Because it's not like I was internalizing all these things consciously and saying, these fuckers are spreading their lies in the world and telling me there's something wrong with me, and I'm just internalizing it and not fighting back or whatever. But that's for the ones that I could see, right? And can it's like there were all kinds of messages that hit me in my unconscious function areas, values or whatever, that I just probably subconsciously internalized. But more importantly, I'd spent my whole life basically being shushed, you know, either escaping into books and video games or being shushed. Right. Well, when people are using when an NTP, probably an STP as well, is using language, they're assuming it's to communicate something that fits into um, the envelope size of communicative stuff. So people try to communicate a lot of times about their feelings. They might try to communicate just how significant this example of this feeling is. And they might try to get you to, you know, actually like, I feel you, dog. Like put yourself in their shoes and or have an equivalent experience of your own that you can relate so that you guys can feel each other about it or whatever. A lot of people use words to do that. That's not communicating. That's expressing yourself and engaging with another person. So communicating is about conveying information that is fully reducible to language. That doesn't mean you'll never communicate anything about your feelings, because if you're engaged in a communicative purpose, you only need to reference a given feeling for the job it's doing in what you're trying to communicate. You don't need to try to get the other person to grok how significant the feeling was, you know? So, what NGPs do is almost always they're always talking to communicate, but some of those communications may be um, interfacey style communications like jokes rather than explanatory communications like this. I have zero expectation that when I'm communicating about my feelings, it's going to resonate with other people. If I'm communicating about my feelings, I'm just trying to work through them, I guess. And I'm not probably communicating very quickly. I've noticed that FI slows down the verbiage substantially, in typical instance anyway. Well, NI is the hardest function to define, describe. You can easily enough define it in terms of its um, information directionality kind of thing. It's a receiving function that takes information from the external physical or external metaphysical field and knows stuff about it. But, it's like, it's the hardest one to really just define and describe because it's easy to define and describe SI. You have plenty of examples of it. After all, it's the example function. You can reference your past experience, you can reference how you feel physically, you can reference going to sleep and eating and those kind of body knowledge things. Everybody has a body, everybody can resonate with that. It's trickier to explain NI with those kinds of examples, but I do have a couple examples that that I've used in the past that are somewhat informative. For example, I was driving one time to pick up this guy who was, I don't remember what his name. I actually think his name was Ruben. His name was Ruben, but it was Kimberly's like stepbrother. I was going to pick him up from something that he was dealing with, and I had to go to East LA to this place called the Miggity Meow Miggity Meow. I forget what it's called. And I wrote down on a post-it note the name of the place I was going to and the name of the exit to get off of, I could see it from the freeway. I like vaguely, I knew what it looked like kind of, but I didn't know exactly which exit to get off on. So then I'm driving towards the freeway and I've got the post-it note on my dashboard. And I think to myself, as I often do when I get in the car, where am I going again? And I think this like half the times I get into the car. So I go, where am I going again? And I think back to when I was sitting in the garage before I'd left the house and what I did then. And I remember then writing the post-it note and go, oh, that's right, I'm going to Miggity Meow, Miggity Meow. And then I look at the dashboard and the post-it note's right there telling me this information. So, an NI person whose attention is more on what's going on, whether it's where they're driving to or what they're reading or whatever, is going to see the post-it note and probably rely on the post-it note to know where they're going, even if they're NI enough. They're going to expect that post-it note to be there so they can check it maybe more than once during the course of their trip to remind themselves where they're going. I expect my SI to keep track of it, but I know my SI is unreliable, so I made a post-it note. But I'm an SI type. So when it came time for me to know where I was going, instead of looking at the post-it note, I remembered back to when I was in the garage before I got to figure out where I was going, even though that's not a sensible way to do it. So that's one good explanation or a good example of an instance where you can see how NI and SI play out differently for the same given task, right? It's informative, but it's not a definition of NI. Yeah, is it a neighbor, a Reuben, a Burin, an Ebern, a let's see, N-U-R-B-E, NURB. If I have another son, which would be my first son, actually, the one I currently have is a daughter. If I have another kid and it were a son, I consider NURB as a possibility for a name. Stop nurbing my churb. Go away, bee. Your noisy buzzing makes me question my sanity. Okay, he's going away. Yes, Niebuhr backwards is Reuben. Or, it could be an anagram for his actual name, which is Nerb. I think that's more likely. Probably his actual name is Nerb. He just anagrammed it. I'll leave you to try to type you from my comments. Well, I can tell you from experience, Club Grizzly, that that's not possible. I've been convinced sometimes from chatting with people that they must be a given type, then actually type them and they're not. So, I have learned an important lesson, a lesson you need to know. Your whole mind is in a state of limbo? Really? Do bimbos go to limbo? Good girls go to heaven, bad girls go to hell. Bimbos go to limbo. And men sluts do as well. Good girls go to heaven, bad girls go to hell, bimbos go to limbo, and man sluts do as well. What do you think about that saying? Is limbo the same thing as purgatory? Or is it a region, a small region of purgatory? Is limbo to purgatory as Holland is to the Netherlands? I don't think limbo is the same as purgatory, actually. Well, it's either that or you get a face full of toilet going. I don't think you want that. Nobody tunes in to watch someone go to the bathroom. So I assure you, therefore, that I'm not going to the bathroom right now. And I'm instead just sitting with the camera oddly tilted up. Just sitting in a room, farting away. Okay. No, I'm not actually pooping. I had big poop earlier. I just had a little bit of a fart. It's just my butthole wanted to say hi to the stream. It's a bit of an attention whore. I was always so frustrated because I tilt the camera up, It never gets the chance to have its moment on stage. There. What do you think about that? Yeah. You say, yes, it's on the coast, but more precisely, Commerce Pimp, I believe it's in Isthmus. Isthmus. So that was a good urine experience for us, for all of us. We all enjoyed that. It was clean. It was simple. It was easy. I was able to continue seeing your chats. Even I think I might win a YouTube award for best use of toileting in a supporting role. I'm not sure what I'm doing right now. And it wasn't. You may have detected there was a slight energy shift in me right there. Your intuition on that is right on the money, and it did have to do with like, am I continuing this right now? Sort of, but um, I'd actually before I saw that, I already made the determination that no, it's time to pull a bomb rip, maybe two, and find out what happens later. Since NI is harder to define, does that make INTJs and INFJs harder to understand? Only if you understand things through definitions. Not everybody does. I do. But that's not the only way I understand things. I primarily know things by experience because I'm an SI user. And like getting NI, well, I think I get it about as well as a non-NI user can get it. One typically displays fluency in your 4-5. So both ESTPs and ENTPs show they test on NI-SI as almost conscious on both. But obviously they're not. One of them is an absolute value and technically unconscious. The other is an instrumental value but conscious. So the point is, I have an NI holistic understanding, irreducible understanding of NI itself. And I additionally have plenty of experience dealing with NI people in ways that were impactful to me and are memorable. I've got plenty of examples, therefore, of what NI has looked like when I've heard it from other people. I can point to examples of NI and art. I've got a bunch of different variety of ways that I can personally understand it. When it comes to the definitional aspect of it, I have all the aspects of it operationalized that I need to have operationalized, which is to say, you can define it simply as a receiving function that receives information on the external physical or external metaphysical fields, and that it's the real time and forward knowing function, like now and forward, not real time, now and forward knowing function versus the now and backwards function. You could also say that NI is the low resolution knowledge function, the communication knowledge function. It retains less data, and that SI is the high resolution experiential function, retains more data. Those kind of elements are operationalized, need to be operationalized. They are, but it's hard to it's harder to grok what it is because it's intuition. Well, how did you know that, Ruben? How did you know that you were getting that energy? You can't explain exactly what it is. There's no possible way you can explain exactly what it is that cued you into the fact, because you were right exactly on the money. Like, I hadn't been thinking about any stream at all. And for a moment, I thought about it. I wasn't that close to making a decision or anything, but you read it perfectly. So you can't explain very easily how it is that you intuited that, right? What all the different cues were. Um, because it's one of those holistic things. It's a congregation effect. When people try to reduce marijuana down to THC, you end up with these horrible indica strains that have high test values for THC and are just horrible weeds that just make you headachy or whatever. They may or may not make you high, but it's not pleasant. They don't smoke well. They make you cough your fucking lungs out. It's horrible. So the thing is, and then if you were to instead breed weed for like what, trying to find a good weed, like, oh, this combination came out great, whatever it is, I don't care whether it upped the THC or lowered it. This particular strain right here is fantastic. Let's make hybrids from it. I mean, let's make clones from it. Is somebody here? I guess it's just Rachel upstairs. Sounds like maybe she might be putting together a set of barbells. Not sure. If you want to just absorb your food, show me, you got to put it inside your butt. If you put food inside your butt will just absorb it. But if you put it on your outside skin, it won't work. That will require skin digestion capabilities that you don't have. This bong lady does not have a name. She needs a name. I will hereby field suggestions for a name for this bong lady. Everybody, please throw your suggestions into the chat. If I see a good one, I'll take it. Fire crotch? Okay, well, I mean, the game's already over. This is clearly, if Acacia's already named it Fire Crotch, then its name is Fire Crotch. What do you think of? What do you think of this? Bong's name is Fire Crotch, Rachel.
What?
Can you come here for a sec? Sorry to bother you.
It's okay.
Acacia named my bong here Fire Crotch. It's her. I guess she's a Native American. That's her name. Which is also because fire goes into her crotch.
It does. Yeah. I think that's very clever. Fire crotch.
Yeah. The only way NI can be instantaneous, it has to ignore the details of exactly what made you come to the conclusion or be slow and inefficient. Right. Well, because you're dealing with with reducing real-time experiential data, dynamic stuff into communicable level binary kind of low resolution conclusions. So, you know, Ruben has to know the thing he knows, and he's also likely to describe it a little more vaguely than how I would describe something because he's dealing with interfacey stuff. So it's like instead of saying you just thought about ending the stream, didn't you? He said, this may be FE too. He said, I'm getting stream ending vibes here. That's a vague thing to say. You can't falsify that. You can't validate that either. It's a very interfacey way to put it. If he was thinking of it more in terms of an action deliberation thing, he might have said, you just thought about meow. I also said NI and INTPs and INFPs is loopy. I don't know if I said that. I don't know if I meant what I meant by that. I'm guessing I would say is like, I meant it colloquially as like cuckoo. Because I do sort of think that about their relationship with NI. It's kind of cuckoo. You know, every once in a while, they can look like intuitive, intellectual ESTJs with their refusal to let a given thing be just one thing. I mean, I'm thinking in terms of debaters, personally. Like, is Rachel washing dishes? Show Media asks the question, is Rachel washing dishes?
I am putting dishes in the dishwasher, yeah.
Yes, she's washing dishes. She brought dishes down from upstairs, and now she's like scraping out the crap in them and putting them in the dishwasher. Yeah, well, Ruben, Show Media both picked up on a lot of womanly energy going on in the background.
Oh, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that dishwashing goes with feminine energy.
Yeah. Acacia, are you a lady or a lady that's packing? She's a Californian. It's unlikely she's packing. We normally don't. This isn't like Montana where somebody might walk into town with a 6-shooter on their hip. It's considered weird around here, especially in LA. Where I live, we might see hunters out with hunting guns out in the woods, but it would still be weird to see somebody like with a 6-shooter on their hip walking into town. It's not a question of whether you're a female, Acacia. The question is, are you a lady? A lady is a lot fancier than a female, okay? It's what every female should aspire to be. A fancy lady. So, on a scale of our ESTJ mailman to fanciest lady in the world, how fancy are you? Mexicans can be fancy too. Why are you bringing in your Mexicanness? Oh, because Hero Lamb asked if you're Native American? No. He's not asking about you, Acacia. He's asking about Firecrotch. Yes, Firecrotch is Native American. Sure, she's Native American from Mexico. She's from the Ixtaquaquaco region that's currently known as Michoacan. Her people are the native people there. And they were sensible enough to use English Indian names like Firecrotch, which is why we still have them around today. Leo reacts to vids. Are you reacting to my vid? Is your response, what the fuck? Well, that's quite an evocative response. It makes me go like, what the fuck indeed? This is how Firecrotch prays. Do I ever drink Mexicola? Yeah, I've had Mexican Coke plenty of times. I like it fine. Ow! Moi, 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 moi. Makes me want to do Muay Thai. Ow, I fucking touched this thing for a split second and burned myself. I haven't burned myself on a torch in a long time. This one's not so bad. Just a quick touch. R.I.P. Rip that bong and see what you see. I'm gonna go do a cheer for Firecrotch, my dear. Spell Firecrotch, Firecrotch, you know. And go. Firecrotch. Let's smoke. Firecrotch.
That's wonderful.
Thank you. That was a cheer called Firecrotch. You can hear that and my other new cheers, my upcoming album, Eric Cheers. Rachel got an email the other day from a lady who wanted to inform her that her secret chants were now available for purchase. In audio format. What's my name? My name is Eric. Your name is Leo. Rachel's name is Rachel.
Yes.
Am I smoking crack? No. I don't smoke crack. It's a ghetto drug, okay? We don't smoke crack around here. Well, this one I just barely tapped it for a split second.
Oh.
But it's a lot better than they normally are when I touch it. So it actually feels like I may just have a first-degree burn. Now, this is a marijuana pipe. This bowl is filled with marijuana. Why did she like this? You'll break that vape and try to save your life, but don't vape. I don't vape. I don't vape. I don't vape. I don't vape. No, I don't vape. Don't vape. Don't vape. Don't vape. But don't vape. Don't vape. Don't vape. No. You had your affirmation. It's don't vape. I don't vape. You can't change your affirmation now. So sorry. Try a different response. I hope not, show media, but
Yeah, I hope not.
if that were the case, I would not happen to me because I don't vape. You're on Xbox. Well, congratulations. I hear that that's a platform one can be on. I'm on my phone. I'm on my phone and I star in Home Alone. There are two things you should know about me. A lot of people can't believe it, but this is what Macaulay Culkin looks like now.
Wow. There it is.
Now do you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, having sufficiently bonged, it is time now for Eric to go outside and put a cigarette. Tender coffees. Rachel offers tender coffees as a contribution to the live stream.
Yes.
For those of you who felt like, I'd like to hear the tenderest of coffees. Well, Rachel provides exactly that. It's like listening to a newborn baby laugh. That's how tender her coffees are. So, welcome all to the Tender Coffees Network. Get away, bog. Well, it's a nice day. I'm not gonna lie. It's a very pleasant day. It's like, I don't know, 70 degrees. 69, 68. Let's see, I can ask Rachel to look on the computer. Or her phone. Rachel, what temperature does it say on the computer there? 65. 65 it says on the computer. I knew it was under 70. I was underestimating how much under 70 it was. But these conditions are survivable provided you have a light jacket, some sweatpants, modesty pants of some sort. You should be able to survive outside at least 15 minutes in these conditions. Despite his bravado, for Eric, hypothermia almost immediately sets in. I get the heck in, it's so close. 65 degrees. I'm freezing to death. That's how people who freeze to death behave, of course. No, Bobby's not banned. He just has to come around with a different name. Let's all get banned in solidarity for Bobby. Well, as a moderator, you might be able to ban yourself, Karma Spam. Have you considered that? Some of them ask me where me get it from. I chew them no, it's from creation. I don't know that, Rasta song. I do know that a Rasta guy participated in Naked and Afraid in this week's new episode with this lady, who didn't make much of an impression on me. Anyway, they both failed. They were a fan challenge. It rained one night and they both tapped. They're like, fuck it. Too cold, too difficult. I don't want to do this anymore. It's like on day 11 or something. I don't think I could make it 15 days or 14 days. I seriously doubt I could. Um, I think I'd quit probably within 3 hours, I suspect. Even if I were really trying. Even if I went in there with my most optimistic estimates of things, it would be like, I'm going to try to last 2 days. Like, it's 65 degrees right now. But if I were standing here naked, just standing here, I would be cold, for sure. And I'd be like, okay, wait, now we gotta go like walk barefoot down this hill to get water. And I got no clothes on. I gotta go through all those bushes just to get down there, and there's all these little bugs flying around me. Okay, why did I sign up for this? I should have realized this was a bad idea. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm not a survivalist at all. I'm not even an outdoorsman. I barely qualify as something other than a shut-in. I do have a plan, though, which I'll share with you. Because God put us on earth as part of His plan. And part of His plan was for us to make plans. I dream of a day when I get around to cutting in some steps and some subtle steps in the side of the hill, you know. Not a big construction project. It's a tender work of loving step making all the way down. You know, put on the old work clothes, cut out a step, like the first step, make this the edge of the first step right here. So this is like an extension of the patio a bit. And have the second step go down some, like that, you know. And then I could just step right down there, and I'd be a little bit closer to down there. And I just do one step at a time like that. Even one step would be a little bit closer. I mean, don't you want to go down there? I do. It looks so pleasant down there. Let me see if I can zoom in on it a bit. Let me zoom out a bit. God damn it. Get the exact right amount. Right there. There. Doesn't that look like a pleasant place to go? Down there? Down there on those trees and stuff? Well, sure it does. But I'm not going to be very quick to walk down this hill. Because, first of all, it's very steep. Second of all, it's got all these little bushes that leave prickers in your socks and stuff. The only way I'm gonna go down this hill is either walk down the little road over there. But I don't like going down the hill from over there. I want to go down the hill here. on steps of my own construction, all the way down to those ferns down there. There's a little sitting spot of shade underneath this big sequoia tree. It's not that big, that one, but and then these little maple trees all behind it, and then there's these ferns. It seems like a nice place to put a chair. But if I walk down the road, I have to go all the way down there and then all the way over there. I want little steps right there. You know, low profile steps, like just really blend into the hillside, not pouring cement kind of operation. I2SMG. If you find a ring of mushrooms, don't cross through it. Is it bad luck to cross a ring of mushrooms? Who's Mike? Oh, is that what that face is? I asked Rachel, I was like, do you recognize this? Is this some sort of character from something? But she didn't recognize it. I didn't recognize it either. I was hoping it wasn't a character from something. I didn't want it to be a actual like existing character from something. I wanted it just to be a random looking thing, but I figured it was probably a character for something. Well, maybe I can fix her by using a Sharpie and some other things that I have at my disposal to make her unique, you know. No, I will not roll down that hill. You know what I do note about all the land we have here is that it's hey, I'm not saying Mike Hart is a narcissist, okay? I have not ever made that claim. That's not what this video is about. I have no reason to think he is. I'm not making that claim at all. The reason I was making this video about narcissists, nothing to do with him really at all. It just has to do with the fact that I have been being recommended a bunch of videos about narcissists lately for some reason. And I clicked on one today and I liked its format because it was I think 7 ways to tell that your partner is not a narcissist, which I think is a more important piece of work to do than the other part may be important, but the problem with the other way of doing it, where you say like, here are behaviors consistent with a narcissist, is people are going to overdiagnose people in their lives as narcissists, either authentically or inauthentically. Inauthentically being utilize that to weaponize the term, and here, yeah, you don't test as narcissistic at all, according to those things. Most of them I don't check off at all either. There were 1 or 2 of them that, like, on a surface level, I might check off on it, but it's not actually representative of what it might normally be representative of. Because one of the reasons why that video was imperfect is that it didn't account for how narcissism will play out depending on your cognitive function stack. Your mom's expression of accountability avoidance syndrome looks like TE a lot, you know? Whereas, say, this guy, what was his name? Nick. Pretty toxic ENFJ, probably a narcissist from my experience. Just speculation. I'm not trying to damn the guy or pathologize him. But he used Effie, and it looked quite different. The problem with those kind of things in general is they don't do a good job of providing real diagnostic tools, which would differentiate between how the different expressions would look like. You know, you'll get this or this, but probably not both. You know, it would be probably helpful information about the subject. What happens if you step into a fairy ring? Do you turn gay? Why and how is the term narcissist misused? Well, it's misused like a lot of such terms. What am I doing? Well, I don't need to turn the light on to open the garage door. It's used to pathologize people rather than it ceases to be an actual diagnosis. The same sort of thing as the concept behind the euphemism carousel articulated by somebody, you know, which is you start. Wow. More correctly, Rachel, then Luca assumes you take a lot of math. The euphemism escalator, that's what they call it. So, you know, it's like term like idiot started out as a clinical term, became an insult. Moron started out as a clinical term, became an insult. Retarded started out as a clinical term, became an insult, you know? It's the euphemism escalator. And so too with terms like narcissist, any kind of pathologizing term that people can use to reduce another person to someone they can dismiss entirely, rather than having to deal with what they're actually saying, or to treat them fairly like everybody else and say, well, even if I conclude you're wrong about this, I can't conclude you're wrong about everything or justify my claim that you're wrong using the same thing every time, right? I look like Captain Ahab from Moby Dick. Did he have a homemade glasses fob? Is that why? So what would you say is a fair use of the term narcissist? Well, I think that when healthy people not engaged in any kind of back and forth with somebody are using the term to talk about their own experience and say, you know, I have had experience with a narcissist. It was this person, yeah. And that's generally perfectly fine. In contrast, if I'm arguing with somebody on the internet and I call them a narcissist because they're the bad guy, they're the enemy I'm trying to attack, that kind of usage is bad. We shouldn't pathologize people like that. Machete is a type of long knife. And you can use it to chop things. Sometimes called a chopper. What would you like me to chop today? We can play chop, 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 chop away if you want to. First, I could chop something over there, then I could chop this thing here at the chair. You want me to chop a chair for you? I don't want to chop any chairs right now. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go inside where beverages exist and retrieve one from the beverage storage and coldifying unit in the kitchen. So let's retrieve this, and I think I'm going to turn the heat on this hot roast. I need to eat. I haven't eaten anything at all today. Nothing whatsoever that I can recall. I did have coffee, had some beverages, but I don't think I've eaten anything at all. So I turn the heat on the pot roast. It will warm up in a little while. Rachel and I can then eat the pot roast, which is, I must say, very delicious. It came out really good. And my pot roasts usually do come out quite good, but this one, it's really good. It has the flavor. Its flavor is worth the flavor of 1,000 medium good pot roasts. What do you think about shadow modes like ENFJ and INFP shadow mode? I don't believe in it at all. I think it's bullshit. I've heard no good explanation for why such a thing should be the case. It is true, I believe, that if you're in kind of an ontologically assaultive environment, your first response is to escape into your fourth slot function and or over manifest it in your being compared to what's native to your function stack for some limited amount of time. When I experience trauma, I respond to it with a lot of SI, which is a good way to respond to it. Self-care. Sleeping, eating, etc. When Rachel experiences trauma, she does a lot of SE. It's like to buy things and or go for a walk or some shit like that, you know. When presumably when a TE Dom experiences trauma, they spend time in their feelings. And it kind of makes sense thinking about my dad. When a TI Dom experiences trauma, they think, oh shit, I need to pay attention to the group. I need to pay attention to the group and my standing therein. Because since trauma's occurred and my what I'm conscious of as a weakness is my fourth slot function. I'm going to assume that it was inadequate fourth slot function that contributed to the trauma, and I'm going to try to do more fourth slot function to make up for that in response. FEDOM would try to be very fair and logical, etc. They're going to assume that the problem was they tried to schmooze in a circumstance that required interface and action, and in a circumstance that required deliberation and action, and their conscious deliberation function is TI. Since they won't assume that the other kind of action is the proper kind of action to take, because they have an action function in interface, really, because you really have two kinds of action functions and two kinds of knowledge functions, deliberation and knowing, and action and interface.
What are INFJs?
And IDOM, so you mean, what are they, fourth slot?
Yeah.
You mean about what I'm talking about right now?
Yeah.
Oh, so INFJs are knowing interfacers, so they assume since they're knowing, it can't be the wrong kind of epistemics. It can't be that you should have used deliberation instead. It must be that you used too little action, and it can't be your dominant function was wrong. It must be your tool function. Since your tool function is a kind of action function, interface and action functions are both those, then you assume it must be a deficit in your other action function, SE, and so you SE in response to trauma. If you're like in trouble and there's danger, like, oh shit, I really fucked up, I might get kicked out of my house or something, you might scramble to prevent that from occurring by taking various actions. Or you might self-soothe by going on a long walk and disappearing for a while.
I got out of the house as much as I could.
Right. Well,
I would go on long walks.
And so that was probably just in response to the general hostility of the environment.
Was.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I had the choice to go to the library and not go to the library, I'd rather stay at home than go to the library, but things weren't good at home, so.
Well, I mean, some of that explains why now you stay inside so much. You like one of the cats.
You really am like one of the cats.
Because you had to rely a lot on your fourth slot function for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Because you were in an assaultive environment, and that's what we have available to us as a sort of conscious response to it is, especially if circumstances magnify it potentially as well, like TI wasn't going to get you anywhere in your house.
Never got me anywhere.
Ignoring, but accountability disorder.
Yeah.
And polar. That's not going to get, I'm sorry, 6 slot.
Yeah, 6 slot. That's
right?
going to be.
No, 8 slot. 8 slot.
Oh, 8 slot's even worse.
Super unconscious, hyper unconscious, and hypersensitive, so it doesn't like to be pushed on at all. So your INFP dad is not going to want his TI pushed on. And your toxic mom is not going to have a proper relationship with her 5th slot function.
What's her 5th slot function?
TI.
Oh, yeah.
So your 3rd slot's not helping. It's just telling you this is unfair. That's hugely important to me, and therefore the perpetual unfairness is a great ongoing trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So you collapse down to your SE as a solution, and really it worked, right? You ended up pulling the trigger on coming to California, and that worked out, worked out now. Rachel and I, we're thinking about pretty soon maybe starting to call each other girlfriend and boyfriend. We don't like labels, but
Yeah.
you know, I've always said like, hey, you're special to me. That's enough.
Oh, that's nice.
Really?
Not really, no.
If you were to hear such a thing, you should not be happy about that. You're special to me. Isn't that enough?
No, I want more than that.
I mean,
So
that's the textbook kind of bullshit people say when they want to have sex with other people. Right? You're special to me. Isn't that enough?
Oh my god, it's
We
so
don't need
true.
labels.
Yeah, we don't need labels. Ew. Whatever. So my grandma's not doing well, and my aunt took her to the hospital, or like, yeah, either took her to the hospital or went to the hospital to see her. And I'm thinking about calling my aunt to see how it is. The only thing is that like I don't exactly have the energy for like a lot of SE. I kind of just want to. I don't want to bullshit really. I want to see how Adelaide is doing, her granddaughter, my second cousin. But
So we'll probably be going to New York soon for a funeral.
I mean,
is that what you mean by not doing well?
Yeah.
I saw the not the whole thing, but just the like first sentence of it, and then I forgot about it. So I'm sorry about that. Sorry to hear about your grandmother.
It's okay. She lived a damn good life.
How old is she?
93. She lived a good life, honestly. She really, really did. Even up until the very end. She lived in a swank place. The people loved her there. She always had her children visiting her. She traveled a lot. She was very religious, so she was very active in that. She lived a very well, healthy life for a very long time. So, but it still makes me sad. Like I can feel those feelings. But yeah, I don't know. She did live a really good life.
Well, if we need to go back to New York for the funeral, we'll go back to New York.
Well, like, it does. We don't like have to, obviously.
Rachel, I think you want to go to your grandma's funeral. I've heard you talk to her on the phone enough times over the last 4 years.
Yeah, it would be respectful to go. Oh,
I think you regret it if you don't go.
I would probably.
So we'll wait for see what happens with her health. I mean, you never know. People make miraculous recoveries.
She's tough, so yeah, there is a chance. There really is. Yeah.
What's wrong with her?
So she had a blood clot or a stroke. They're not sure. Okay. And she still has a pneumonia. And,
my grandma died of a stroke.
Did she?
Yeah. And so did my great grandmother.
Really?
Great grandma, 99.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, that's right. The one who
had the 9 kids, 8 living. No match for Ruben's grandparents, 17 children. Well, yeah. You didn't 12 children enough. No, Maria. I want 18 children. I told you, like one of those big cartons of eggs. But he only made it to 17.
Oh.
I don't know what happened. Maybe she ran out of eggs.
Maybe they got to the age where it wasn't really like.
Women have a finite amount of eggs, right?
Not I find out. Yeah, through menopause you lose that function.
No, I mean I think that a woman is born with a set number of eggs and it never increases. They just burn through them over the course of their life.
I have no idea.
Is that correct or incorrect?
That I don't know. I don't know much about.
Menopause is when you're right out of box.
It is. I think it is though.
You can't make any more omelets.
No.
Ruben says, yeah, women have limited eggs. And Lou also says, I am correct. Well, you see, I can mansplain stuff.
Yes, you can. Mansplain to me this guy, I don't even know.
I mansplained women's uterus stuff to Rachel successfully.
Sometimes I need to be mansplained too.
That's a rare occasion when you can successfully mansplain something. I'm proud of myself. Okay. Ruben's getting that ending stream by Energy Vibe again. Vibing energies. But his intuition is totally wrong. No, he was right again. But I am going to play a song or two, I think. I'll play a little song called America the Beautiful.
How does that go?
America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and spread thy good with all that would, and lots of bakeries.
America, America.
God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
People, cool.
So, before I play any songs, I'm going to play this thing that I was fucking around with this morning when I forgot that I was just killing time till my typing session until 45 minutes into the typing session. 10:45, I stopped fucking around with this and I'm like, oh, let's see what's going on. I looked at my phone. It said typing session. I was like, oh no! So I had me emailed, or we've had the email exchange, so the best a person can do. It needs to be louder. That dishwasher's loud.
Sorry.
That's okay. I don't expect you to not do the dishes.
It's so good.
Thanks, darling.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I hereby call it ma. Mm-hmm. Meh is what it's called. I hope you guys are ready for the draft, and I'm not talking about short skirts. I don't think they're going to draft 52-year-old men.
What about a 30?
8-year-old woman?
Yeah.
No. I don't think they're going to draft you either. Even if there is a war coming, it's unlikely we'll need to implement a draft. War doesn't require the amount of personnel that it used to require. It's not about who can throw more bodies into the bloody trenches. You know, it's a little bit more high tech than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's called persistence. I've yet to be fully happy with that thing at all in any sense, but it kind of came out for 30 seconds. It's fine. When you have something you're not happy with, decent chance if you get it short enough, it would be cool. If it's like, if there's something cool, but you don't have a lot of stuff, it's like you don't have a whole song or anything, just have 8 bars of loop, different loops and stuff. You got about 30 seconds worth of entertainment there. Otherwise, you need to go to house otherwise a word or social song or something. Otherwise, 30 seconds. That's all you got. It's in talks. It's because we're having retention problems with current personnel. Oh, we can't retain current personnel? Well, can we attain sufficient new volunteers? They're not really volunteers, professional soldiers, signees, sign-uppies, whatever you want to call them. I was just talking about this phenomenon earlier because there's an instance where we were talking about apologies, right? And that if somebody's sincerely sorry, I'll give you a nice tea, yes. Then that should be sufficient or whatever for most things. It's not too major. And Mackenzie was like, well, you need to follow up with action. And I gave an example. I said, I can't remember a specific instance of this, but I'm sure it's happened where, like, Rachel's got some food. I'm, like, on the phone talking, and I walk by, pick up her food, start eating it, stay on the phone, and just don't notice that I've done that. And then in those instances, I would apologize. I'd say, like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I can't believe I did that. But I wouldn't necessarily expect myself to not make that kind of mistake again, because it's kind of, unless it were really important to you and you made a big yeah about it, then I would go like, okay, Eric, you got to pay attention to whether you're doing that again. I'll probably pay more attention to it now because it came out as a hypothetical example earlier and then actually happened later in the same live stream. Crazy.
That is.
Anyway, I'm sorry I stole your iced tea.
It's alright.
I hope that replacement iced tea will do. She didn't choose this one because it was the best of the iced teas. I think she just picked this one at random. I just grabbed her iced tea. I could have sworn I'd gotten an iced tea, Yeah. be. It might be outside. I put that bowl back. What do I do with my bowl now? I got a bowl out to put behind it there. Oh, the hot dog! Here's my bowl. I'm going to put pot roast in it. I'm going to use these tongs. But I've got a trick that helps make your pot roast extra delicious. Before you serve yourself pot roast, I highly recommend it to anybody who has pot roast on the menu. Put some chips at the bottom of your bowl. And then you could, if you want, if you have room, you could even put more chips on top. But this piece of meat here. And some more meat. Maybe a little carrot or two. You know. How much do you really love potatoes? Not that much. Says everybody. No, I love potatoes. They're my favorite fruit. Potatoes aren't fruit. Okay? Stop insisting that potatoes are fruit. Then maybe, finally, we'll be able to get along for once. Instead of constantly arguing about potatoes, fruit, whether potatoes are fruit, whether fruit's potatoes. I'm a narcissist. Ask me anything. Are you to blame when things go wrong? Or is it someone else's fault? How does it feel when you hurt someone's feelings? Does it feel bad or do you not feel bad? Ooh, no, I'm the kind of narcissist that likes to look at himself in the mirror a lot. Different kind of narcissist what I'm talking about. Right in this warmed up. I turned it on a while ago. I mean, it's still good, but we gotta go a little warmer. How do you keep a monkey in suspense? Show them a suspenseful movie? Or don't inform him the gender of his child until like an hour after it's born. Hang him from a meat hook. I don't know. Like, haven't watched any Crunchyroll show on a week-to-week basis. I love binging those shows, but I can't ever binge them now because I've binged all the good shows. What is a dyslexic zombie's favorite food? Let's see. Bee rain? No. How about snare? Snarebs? Snarebs? Brian's. Oh. Oh, that makes more sense. Makes a lot more sense than Narebs. You know, I hate to point it out, but that joke's a little bit zombieist. Maybe kind of a lot zombieist. Obviously, zombies, like everybody else, eat a variety of different foods. All that, they all eat rice or some shit like that, you know. They're individuals like everybody else. Well, I have 2 legs and bleeds. A woman. That's a horrible joke, that part. What has 2 legs and doesn't bleed? Your mom's face. No, though? I'm trying to say your mom's face does not have 2 legs. And one of those things on the side of her head. Whose mom has very leg-like ears? New group, I do not want your racist jokes. I already know the punchline to that. I'm removing that comment right now. No, new group. No. I'm already mad enough that you're racist against zombies. I don't care what race you are. If you're really African, you'll welcome me to Wakanda. Welcome to Wakanda. I'm Black African too. From the Congo today, specifically. So, Don't start feeling all privilegey around here. You're not the only black person. I am too. Today. This changes pretty much every day by race. Yesterday I was Mongolian. Although briefly during part of the day I transitioned into British. The posh kind of British, then they're like alternative to posh, whatever that's called. And then back to Mongolian. Finally, today, I woke up from the Congo. That's what explains all the strange dreams I had last night. I dreamed I was being gored by an elephant. I was like, wow. I didn't know elephants gored you so much. They do. I've got several tusk-sized holes. Two where he got me, first on this side, down this side, and then another one up here a little bit. So I got really lucky that he missed all my vital organs just by a centimeter. Oh, you were Mongoloid yesterday. What cut of beef did you use in your pot roast? Pot roast, pot roast, pot roast, pot roast. I don't recall what beef it was for my pot roast, pot roast, pot roast, pot roast. I think it might have been maybe, I don't know, it had string around it. I've gotten tri-tip before, but I don't think this was tri-tip. I picked it out of just on how it looked, I didn't look at what it was called, really. I saw the pot roast section, and I looked at them. Some of them looked too bloody. I didn't want to get the ones that looked so bloody. This one, I like the fact that it has string on it for some reason. I think, oh, that's good. It has string on it. It looked like about the right size for a pot roast. So I said, hey, I'm getting this pot roast, this one, instead of some other one. So I don't know exactly what cut it is. I may have looked at what it was called, but I don't remember. So we may need to go back to New York for a funeral. That's going to be expensive. What are you going to do? People die. You got to bury them at some point. Okay. Now I'm going to play that song, the songs I was telling you I was going to play. And then we're going to wrap up this stream. We're having a musical transition from live streaming to not live streaming. just live living. Live living is the alternative to live streaming and death. Those are two alternatives to live streaming. Live living and death. Live living is fine sometimes. Live living is not the most fun thing you can do, really, but it's not terrible. It's definitely better than death. Is it better than live streaming? Sometimes it is. Because the truth of the matter about live streaming is there's no point in live streaming if you're not feeding on like blonde. If you don't have plenty to say, a lot of chatter and banter.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, she's out here.
Where
My
are you
bad.
going to share?
I'll go someplace else.
Okay.
I thought she was probably upstairs.
I believe so. It should.
But she was actually outside. So I'll have to go over here. Away from Rachel and her grandma. And the quiet, intimate talk. Ow. It's dead, blister. God damn it. I was hoping it was just gonna callus. Now I gotta put a piece of meow on there. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Oh no. The doors are locked. Fuck it. I'll just play something that doesn't require anything but one finger. I have no choice but to do that. Every life lived reaches a time when the road splits in two. There are times, dark times, times of despair, times when it's hard to feel good. That's when I look for my sack full of solvency and my satchel of helpful goods. Satchel of helpful goods. Satchel of helpful goods. Satchel of helpful goods. Every life lived reaches a time when the road comes to an end. When I'm there, will there be anybody else around? Or will I travel all alone? That's when I look for my sack full of solvency and that satchel filled up with home. Yeah, that satchel, now nothing but bones. Satchel of helpful goods. 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 I was trying to protect my middle finger from touching certain parts and it was messing me up on playing the chords. So I messed up the end a little bit. But I'm limited in what I can play because of my middle finger right now. It needs to recover. I guess I had not played for a long time and then I played for quite a while and that's what'll happen to you. It's also on a part of my finger that isn't especially calloused. I suspect I got this playing the bass. I've never really had a bass. I haven't had a bass for a long time before. Now, I had a bass once before, but it's been a long time since I've had a bass. That probably has something to do with it. Well, let's see. Maybe I could play something else. They probably play Cloudy Day in Los Angeles. It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles. And today we run out of time. Troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Will someone buy us some more time? Cloudy day in Los Angeles. Cloudy day in LA. I'm no sort of evangelist, but I've got something to say. Life can strangely be forgiving to those who stay awake all night. And mostly voices say to give in. They'll try to sap your will to fight. But whether I'm supposed to be here or just be soon forgotten, noise is sort of based on what I see here and also on what I avoid. It's a very cloudy day in Los Angeles. And today we run out of time. Struggles past, troubles still to come. The day is nearly done. Will someone buy us some more time? cloudy day in Los Angeles. That's it. I added an extra little thing at the end. I forgot I supposed to stop there.
Hey, Rockstar. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's why they call me Startles Lot Bear. That's my Care Bear name.
Startle a lot bear?
Startles Lot Bear, yeah.
Startle a lot bear.
I am done playing this thing because I got too much playing did to my finger.
Whoa.
I got a little blister. I can play certain things fine, but it's like playing a open G chord hits that spot. This is mostly, I'm pretty convinced from playing the bass, because I must do something with the bass that my finger isn't already calloused that well there from, you know.
Oh, that's true.
So, anyway, that's going to bring an end to the musical activities, because that's all the songs my finger has in me right now. Cloudy Day was actually easier to play with my finger than what's it called? Satchel of Helpful Goods, because bar chords, they don't hit that spot on my finger. Could you please open the door for me?
Sure thing.
Thank you, darling.
You're welcome. I like to do things for you.
I appreciate your willingness and that you like it. Okay. So, I know I want to play that song, Boba Fett. I really do. I like that song a lot. I especially like the part that says, "The slope presents a fork. It's not easy stopping short. Too far along to turn around. To turn around. Enemy ground, enemy ground." I think that's freaking great. I love it. But I don't know how to play it. I have to figure it out. Because I don't have it written down anywhere. I do have a recording of the song, so I can figure it out. And I will. Because I like it a lot. Alright, and that's going to bring us to a conclusion today on our live stream, unless Rachel objects.
Can we do some pulls?
If you want to. You want to pull?
Yeah.
Sure.
Hey, everybody.
You can lift or lower this as much as you want, right? And I'll lock it when you get it where you want it.
That's good. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Now, which is your iced tea? You lost. You probably lost.
I lost mine this time. Yeah.
Here,
Thank you.
have that one. I'll find another one. Who knows which?
Hey,
is which
Acacia.
anyway. You want me to bring you some cards?
Yeah.
You want these decks?
Yeah, but I'm thinking about just using the after tarot. What do you think?
Sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, I want to throw something out here, Rachel. I don't think it's necessarily a terrible concept to, on some occasion, mix the two decks together, after and before, and you get whatever you get, either afters or befores. Or
I like
a mix
that.
of both, you know.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
So I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette.
Tarot pull. So who would like a tarot pull?
You know, since you're not eating, you could sit over here.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
you could
Oh
put
my
it
God.
in
It's
this
like,
thing.
how do we forget to use things?
I know, Rachel. We're not accustomed to plenty. You know, we're not accustomed to having lots of options, etc.
Yeah, and this one's nice. It's a rocking chair. And I guess that's why they call it a bad song.
And you could put the cards on this chair if you reach that far. Oh, open
Yeah.
up
Yeah, it does.
these blinds. Oh, it's some light de naturale in, but I think really, I know you love these lights. I think you're really terrible about that.
I feel like I'm under a spotlight.
Loving with laughter, laughing like children, touching our penis.
It is what Elton John brings to the table.
Yeah, sure. I could be even gayer next song.
Okay, so Acacia. I'm just gonna do one card pulls. Yeah. Acacia. Okay, Acacia. So not right now, but soon. You're gonna be the King of Cups. You're like not afraid to feel your feels. You're so not afraid to feel your feels that you are dumping your emotions out onto the sea. You don't need that cup. You've got enough. There's like some boats in the background, probably part of your fleet. You look a little stern, but I think you're just concentrating. So, yeah, spill that cup, spill that emotion. Yeah, you got enough, exactly. Okay, Karma's Pimp. Ooh, this one jumped out. Ooh, after the Three of Swords. So you are mending your heart. You're like, ugh, I've already gone through so much. I'm fucking over it. It's time to heal. Like, this idea didn't work. This idea didn't work. This idea didn't work. I can't take it anymore. Ugh, my passions are failing me. One girl, one cup. Ruben, are you still around? Do you want a pull? Who wants a pull? Boba Fett, you want a pull? Yeah, it's the after tarot. Okay. Jania Renee. I'm sorry, I'm butchering your name. I apologize. I'm not good at pronunciation. Okay. All right. So Janaea first, then Boba Fett, then Luminix. And this is the after tarot. So this is after what the normal tarot has to say. Okay, Janae Renee. Ooh, the Queen of Swords. The after the Queen of Swords. So if you see up there, there's a little butterfly that's hanging out on your sword. And you're like, wow, look at that. I really like that butterfly. There's a bird flying in the background. The swords have to do with the air, the element of air. In the original Rider-Waite deck, she's like looking to the side, but here it's a little bit more turned towards us. I think the thinker in her has taken a little bit of a break, and she's taking some time. So you could be taking time to notice the little things around you, the birds, the butterflies. What is that? That's a cherub, the clouds. You're gonna like notice those things and really feel good. Okay. Next is Boba Fett. Yeah, Boba Fett. You're welcome. Boba Fett. Ooh, you got the Three of Swords after the Three of Swords too. Again, this idea didn't work. Oh, damn. I have another idea. Oh no, it didn't work either. Shit. Okay, here's another thought that I'm having about this. It's not going that way? Damn. My heart. My passions. All these three swords that meant so much to me. I have to heal now. Luminex is next. Luminex. Lulu. Tri-tip roast beef sound good. Would chimichurri curry? Chimichurri curry? I can't say that word. Yeah, that sounds good. Hey, Levi Samuels. Ooh, okay. Who's not? Who am I pulling for now? Oh, Luminex, of course. Right, Luminex. I was on you. I'm pulling some cards. You want someone? I need someone to help me keep track. I think I was up to Lou. So you got the Five of Swords. You're like, look at this. What I've got two swords in my hand, and I've got one in the other hand. You two are walking away. I don't care what you say. I won this battle. This is probably their swords too. So you're probably going to collect those as well. You might have gotten into a tiff with someone or something. I guess someone more than something. But you are looking victorious. You're like, yeah, hell yeah. I just fucking kicked these two guys' asses. Look how forlorn they look. You don't even care. You just like are happy that you won. Ruben's next. Ruben's next. It could be an internal state. It is mental because swords are mental. They're thoughts more than feelings. So it could be that you've been battling inside your head about something and you're happy. You come to a conclusion, you're happy about it.
Better than battling inside your bed about something. I am really bonding with this adorable little squirrel out here. I just wanted to tell you.
Oh my gosh, we have to see that.
You want to take a short pause to see the adorable little squirrel?
Yeah.
Okay. Because, he's standing there on the wall trying to find a cutlet left from the morning, and there's not really any left, so I went and put him more cutlets in. He ran away for like 1 second when I got right up next to him, and then he came back to eat his cutlets.
Oh my gosh, how cute.
Hello, Narmy Palm.
Hi, Narmy Palm.
His name's Narm. Narm.
Norm?
Narm.
Narm.
It's like arm with an N in the front of it.
Narm.
It's a form of rai. Narm is a word that means something very similar to rai.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Where is he? More that way. There you are, Narms. Let's see if I can move these people a little bit closer so they get an even better view of you. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be smart instead of dumb. Turn the camera around like this, you big dummy. Have some decent TE for once in your life.
Oh my gosh! Norm looks so cute! What a teeny squirrel!
He is very cute, yes. It's okay, Norms. It's just me.
And me.
Yeah. Just me and Rachel. We're the provider of cutlets for you. Isn't he a wonderful little Narms?
He is a wonderful little Narms. I was wondering if I was ever going to see him again.
My only concern is people can fairly accuse me of liking little squirrels.
Yeah, they can say that now.
No, I'm serious. Eric, he goes and he films, zooms in on little squirrels.
That's a real problem.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Narms, everybody. Sorry to interrupt your tarot party. But you know what? I think Narms will bring some good tarot energy to this pulling you're doing here, Rachel.
Yeah, Narms is.
Is that the card that Narms got? Chariot?
This is the Chariot. Ruben R. got it.
Oh. Well, I bet Ruben will be able to share it with Narms.
This card is for Narms and for Ruben R. And it's the after Chariot. If you'll see, he has this scepter in his hand, and his hand's over his chest. So I guess it must represent some sort of healing inside. And it looks like these two sphinxes are ready to move. So you're gonna be making moves in your chariot. And you're gonna guide the way with your heart and spirit. You could put him in the corner. You got the wrench. Nice, Rubenar. It's good to have you as a moderator. Let's go find Eric. Oh, there's Narms.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
So, I'm doing a little bit more weatherproofing of the cat door here. It looks like it might have shifted a little bit, so.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not sure because it feels pretty solid, but it looks a little bit different than yesterday, maybe. Like, I didn't notice this light coming through over here yesterday. And maybe I just didn't notice it, or maybe it's moved. I'm not sure. But I decided to re-prop it up. I need to go around there again anyway, since light's showing through. It's obviously not very weatherproof. And then, after I do the sides and the top again right now, then I will leave it propped like that for a while, put the fan on it, let it dry, and hopefully with the additional weatherproofing, if it has moved at all, then it won't again, you know?
Yeah.
So, to do that, I need to get a new tube of caulk. Got a couple of choices. Kitchen and bath, or Alex Putt. Seems better. 40 years, all-purpose acrylic latex caulk, less silicone. So I'm going with the Alex Plus. It seems perhaps a little more robust.
Yeah.
Than the alternative, which was kitchen and bath. I'm going to stick it with this sticker. First, I'll do this. Put my cigarette on my mouth so I can use two hands. Son of a bitch, I need to cut it first. What am I doing? Once I cut it, then I won't even need to poke it. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm just failing at everything in all regards.
I don't think you are.
Thank you, darling. I appreciate your vote of confidence. Well, votes of confidence are good. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to succeed. So, let's try this again. now I should have it where it works. Okay, hopefully it works. Let's give it a shot. Looks like I opened it enough. Well, let's give it a poke, I guess. We'll use this poker. There. Now it should work. Yep, here it comes. Here it comes. See? Run that along the top. Run that along the side. Run this along the side. You want to fill these holes here too. So that, you know, it's really weatherproof. And also to make sure that it really stays put too. I don't want this thing moving around willy-nilly, you know. Put a little over this little hole right there too. There. A little bit over the hole. A little bit over this. Just to weatherproof it a little bit better. Even though it's just going into the garage, it ultimately will still impact our energy bills because, for one thing, the hot water heater's right here next to it. And obviously, it burns more propane when it's colder to keep the water hot, you know. But really, we got a pretty well insulated garage. So, not too bad. All right, looking pretty good. Cats can still use it while it's staying put thanks to this thing and this thing. There we go. Nice and solid. Okay. Guess that's it. Well, now we just got to put the fan on it and let it dry. We'll put this back over here. So now, of course, you will note that even though there's only one person in the garage, namely me, all three of our iced teas are in the garage. Each of which, this one's pretty empty. This is empty. You can cock my door, you'll be first in line. If you cock my door, then that'll be fine. You can cock my door a lot and cock my door. You can cock my door a lot and cock my door. You can cock my door. Just don't be a whore. You can cock my door. I'll be first in line. For your door cocking service, that'll be just fine. I love my door to get thoroughly cocked. That's why I would not object a lot. If you cock my door, you can cock my door. Cocking doors, meow, 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 cocking doors. Anybody can cock my door. My Ava door cocking medley. I'm sure you understand. Such things are important. What Pokemon type am I today? To the best of my knowledge, Zymo, I am not your grandfather. If I am, then one of two things has happened. Either there's a kid somewhere that I don't know about, or my daughter has a kid that I don't know about. Seems very unlikely the latter. I think he'd tell me. I'd probably notice if she got pregnant. Carried a child all the way to full term. I don't see her super often, but I see her more than every 9 months. No. Look, I'm nobody's grandpa. Rachel's my babysitter. Okay? Rachel's 38. She's a little old to be babysitting teenagers, but that's what she does. That's her job. And just turned 13. But I'm a pretty, you might say, mature 13-year-old because somebody gets it on with the babysitter. Yeah. You could say that I'm pretty pimpin'. You're Squirtle. Rachel Squirtle, I'm sorry. She's not my babysitter, she's Squirtle. I clearly... What's the Pokemon that people irrationally hate the most? I got your iced tea here, Rachel, in case you're looking for it. We left it, but we both left them in the garage. So I brought them back out. I guess maybe could be Psyduck. Confuse people. Maybe I'm Mr. Mime. He, I'm sure, annoys a lot of people with his non-stop miming. Oh, that squirrel is such a little cutie. Here comes a big squirrel. Hopefully the big squirrel doesn't chase after arms. Hi, squirrel. Yes, you can come have some cutlets too. Like the sun, for example. Are you changing into magma? That would be warmer than you currently are. Are you, or is something not quite so hot? Are you just changing into a July afternoon? You know, where temperatures regularly rise above the 100-degree mark. So that's probably hotter than Rachel right now. Rachel at 98.7. Probably a majority of the days in July up here actually are less than 98.7 degrees. But we're saying a hot day in July. Might well reach 105, you know. Which would definitely be hotter, warmer, temperature-wise than Rachel. And we got 2 squirrels. There's a big squirrel. And there's a little squirrel. Oh my god. They're so adorable. The real question is, what kind of squirrel are you, not what kind of Pokemon. I might also be, if I can be anything in Pokemon, I might want to be a Nurse Joy or a Professor Oak. I'd be Nurse Oak or Professor Joy. I want to be Professor Joy. I want to be Nurse Joy, but she has Professor Oak's job. The one person I would least want to be, even maybe less than Jesse or James or Meowth, would be Brock. Brock is just an endless succession of unrequited loves. How sad. Nurse Joy, I'm constantly astonished by your beauty. Well, I'll tell you what I'm constantly astonished by. The beauty of squirrels. Squirrels are like nature's squirrels. Isn't that a very attractive little squirrel? It's got these nice dark light colorations, beautiful shades of brown and tan and orange. But then the adult squirrel is just a boring old gray squirrel. Isn't that a very attractive little squirrel too?
It really is.
With the dark lines and the contrast of colors, the autumnal colors. He's very seasonally appropriate, that squirrel.
Yeah, he is. It is. We don't know if it's a girl or a boy.
We're going to call it a she.
Okay,
She is like a trip to Vermont to see the foliage. She really is. That's why she's named Narms. Because Narms, in the Mayan language, means foliage. Just looking at that little squirrel makes me want to go antiquing.
Oh, me too.
That's one of the things that one associates with foliage as well.
Antiquing?
Yeah, you don't just go to look at foliage.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to pass up the opportunity to do some antiquing while in Vermont. I've never been to Vermont. Don't you bother Narms.
Hey! Norm.
Leave Narms alone. That bully. That big squirrel just totally bullied Narms.
Yeah.
Chased him away. Let's go inside. I did get a little bit of a burn on my finger.
Oh, Sorry.
But it could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. Not that bad. And with those final thoughts, I would like to wish each and every one of you the very fondest, very happiest, very most joyous Wednesday evening. And to say to you this. Rachel, you want to blow them a kiss as well? There, that's love for you.